Congratulations. How are you?
Congratulations on winning. What did you have to do to win?
Ask a question that would be interesting.
Oh, cool.
I like the cut.
Are you going to ask us that question now?
If I can squeeze it in.
Of course you can.
We'll make sure you do.
I'll try. So, I've never done this before. So.
That's right. I don't think a lot of those have done it before.
Sorry.
Brian, you'll see me just going like that. It means you've got a minute left. But don't worry, you know what I mean? You can
cool.
start to think about getting your last few questions out. But don't barrel through them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool.
Relax. If you need to stop at any stage, just shout over.
Terrifying.
Okay?
It is pretty.
I'm not, but just bring them in. So we don't see
What's the other handshake though? Is it that was that? Was that?
I
Yeah.
hope there's a good editing
Yeah.
system.
This means shoot.
So, Brian from, yeah. Guys
Alright.
happy?
There
Brian
we go.
happy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bang.
Go.
Okay, guys, how's it going?
Good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Good. Congratulations on Paul.
Thank
Looks
you very
brilliant. I've got a couple of questions from some of the fans on our website, movies.ie.
Fantastic.
Cool. So why go for the grey alien? The top blue ones are much more.
The Scandinavian kind.
They've been
Exactly.
done. We kind of, well, I think right from the very start, we always wanted him to be really almost not unsurprising looking, because we like the idea that we've secretly been fed his image all over the years, so that we kind of get used to him. And there's a reason why we know that face really well, and it's because the government have been doing this thing but they've been sort of leaking it so that we get used to it, and so
Like
we're
little
not
flash
frightened
images.
by it. Yeah.
So if they come down
We're
in
not
their
going to be so
horde,
surprised.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's called subliminal assimilation, and so you know, when we thought we might be able to get away with not showing anything of him before the film came out, which is of course very naive, when he stepped out of the dark, we wanted the audience to go, oh, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah, of course.
that's the kind of joke that we've seen him before.
Sure. And Seth Rogen does the voice. Was he your first choice, or?
Well, I think originally when Simon and I were writing it, you know, and what you do in the office is you'll write a kind of page of a dialogue, and then you know he'll play Paul and I'll be Graham and Clive, or vice versa. And whenever we did Paul, he was kind of old and gruff and angry, and we kind of thought about Rip Torn maybe, or something like that. But you know, you kind of soon realise that level of anger from a character is fairly unsustainable for 2 hours, you know, but I think it becomes very unsympathetic. The audience find that very unsympathetic. So, you know, we got to a point where the studio said, look, here's a list of names. Who do you fancy off that? We had a list of names, and kind of on both of our lists were kind of Seth Rogen, you know, and what he brings to Paul is, you know, I think people, as Simon points out, a lot of people forget that he's only 27 years old, and the
And he's done
beauty
quite a
of
lot, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And he has a great voice.
Yeah.
He's just got a lovely, and you know, we always kind of had Seth in mind when it came to if we were going to cast somebody younger, and I think it was because, and it's borne out in the movie, he's just got a lovely. There's just a lovely ease to what he does, and he I forget that it's him always. I kind of
Just so friendly.
yeah.
and
People
easy,
ask me who's in the film, and I forget to say Seth because I just see Paul. You know.
Yeah, sure. If you met an alien, what type of movie? What movie would you show them to sum up the human race?
That's a great question.
Schindler's List.
I think probably yeah. That would
That was the last thing I'd
fill
show.
him with joy.
Maybe I'd show him something by Mike Lee.
High hopes.
Yeah, I do.
I think I'd
I
show
do have
him.
high hopes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Me too. I'd show him Independence Day and say, please don't do this.
Don't be like this.
Don't be like this.
Don't do this. Okay.
Whoa! That was
Lovely.
weird.
That was a lovely
That was the aliens.
pigeon's feather.
With the famed Cornetto Trilogy, you've got Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. People are asking, obviously Paul isn't part of it because it's not directed by Edgar Wright.
Correct.
So can you tell us anything about the Cornetto Trilogy, what at World's End, or?
Well, we're just waiting to get on with that, really. I mean, Nick and I obviously are finishing off Paul. Edgar's just finished Scott Pilgrim. Edgar's going to want to do something else, I think, before we do. You know, Nick's got like 2 projects lined up. I've got a couple of projects lined up. We need to be able to get into we're thinking this year we'll start.
Right, okay.
Planning it, because we're now trying to pick out a moment in time when we can all do it. And I think it might be in the next couple of months. But it might not be World's End now. We were talking the other day. Why don't we? You know, that seems to have become a meme. You know, people know World's End. And
This
it's like,
could be where I could fit in my question. From dusk till Shaun.
ah.
Come on, guys.
Well, I always say, Shaun of the Dead was a story which had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it really has ended now. There's nothing more to say. You know, it's like you couldn't really see those characters again because one of the main characters is a zombie. You know, without giving anything away.
I have an answer for that.
Go on.
The sequel, you know, you ask so many questions. He just gets better.
But then that would mean that everybody. That would mean when I killed my mother in Shaun of the Dead, it meant I
would have
didn't
got
have to.
better.
You didn't know that.
The awful irony would be.
It doesn't
that-
make him feel much better.
But that makes the sequel so much more intense.
I think what we always thought is that the sequel to Shaun of the Dead was Hot Fuzz. I mean, what you really want to see, hopefully, is the sensibility again. And I think that will be borne out in the third Cornetto film. It will be like Hot Fuzz and Shaun, but it just won't be the same characters.
Sure. Another question from one of the users: how do you both manage the strain of the creative process? With your friendship, like.
Well, we're friends. We're best mates, and that is more important. I think both of us would be happy never working together again if it meant that we remain best friends for the rest of our lives. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So that you have that as a cornerstone to the writing process.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? We row a lot when we're writing. We row when we're not writing, but we are best mates.
That has to come
if you've
first,
got a
always.
long-term girlfriend or you're married, you just have to suck it up and you apologise and you move on. And that's
Just get on with it.
that's how it is. It's not. If we had a relationship which wasn't as stable as it is, both of us at points would go home and think, God, he hates me, or oh, I hate him. But it's never the case. You know what I mean?
Because there's a bigger picture,
Yeah. You
And I think
know.
sometimes you'll have a thing whereby you have an idea and it doesn't really work, and then you have another one and it doesn't work, and another one, and you start to feel a bit victimised and you get a bit grumpy, and then you always have to try and stay on top of the notion that that's just the way it is, And
Yeah.
we have our moments, but as Nick said, it's like in the background is a friendship which is bigger than any little creative dispute you might have.
Yeah.
Can I say, I think, and I'm talking for Simon here, that we both think you've done a bloody good job.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I've
Well,
done a good job.
thanks very
Did you
much,
want one
guys.
more? Give him one more. Go on.
Go on, squeeze it out.
Go on, squeeze
the
it out.
last drop of milk from a
It's about
tit.
him, like.
Why did I say that?
It's about him.
That's all right.
Star Trek sequel.
Yeah, I can tell you that it's being written, that there's a huge
Here-
amount of
here it is.
excitement about it.
Khan. You tell me who the baddie is going to be.
I
So,
honestly don't know. Khan, I tell you?
Yeah,
No,
tell
I
me.
don't. It's not Khan, as
Okay.
far as I know. I mean,
Okay.
I had dinner with Chris Pine recently, Chris Pine, and we were with Brian Burke, who's the producer of the film, and both of us were pummeling him for information, trying to be
nothing.
cheeky with it. Nothing.
Well, cool. Listen, thanks very much.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
I think you're going to pat him on the head in a really patronising
Well done.
way.
I knew it was
Well done, lad. Nice to meet you, man. Thank you very much. Take it easy.
Cool, man. Thank you.
See you later.